such as a tote bag. Now this is because of bus restrictions going from the airport and stuff, because there's not a lot of space underneath for the buses. I will tell you, going to Buenos Aires, when I looked, United does allow you to check 2 bags free, which is unusual. So if you want to come back with a lot of stuff and check it, feel free. Just keep in mind, for the buses to get from the airport and back to the airport, we need to be able to fit everything on the bus. So kind of limit yourself to 1 checked bag. You might bring something along that you can fill at the end and check at the airport. That's up to you, the collapsible bags or something like that. The dimensions are on there. It's under 50 pounds. The carry-on is, you can see the size. We always recommend keep a change of clothes in your carry-on in case your luggage is lost or stolen. If you lock your luggage, make sure it's a TSA approved lock.
And how do you know it is?
It should say it when you buy it. It should say something on it, TSA approved. Yeah. If you don't want to lock it, if you do want to lock it, you can. And if it's not TSA approved, they'll just cut the locks if they decide that yours is one of the bags they want to check.
Mine, I've got a AAA and it's like a combination thing.
You have to look when you buy it to see if it's TSA approved. It's not like it's a rule of thumb.
They won't know you're coming.
Yeah, they just reserve the right to cut it if they decide they're checking your bag. They don't check every bag, but
they have a master key.
Be careful with lithium batteries or the smart bags, because a lot of them are not allowed anymore because of fire. Medication, we always recommend you take it in your initial or your original prescription bottle. I know some bottles can be large. I had somebody else ask me, can I use the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday? Sure, there's really no rule about it, but if they decide to give you a hard time about it, that's the TSA, because I would make sure I have a copy of your prescription or something with you as proof, because technically they don't say yes, but I've never heard of them stopping anybody. Remember, any liquids, lotions, gels have to be in your checked bag. If you take it in your carry-on, they have to be in 1 quart-size clear Ziploc bag. And it can't be overstuffed, because I have had them say something like, if you're trying to pack it all the way to the full, they'll say a little too much. There is a thing about powder. I don't know how strict they're being with it. Over 12 ounces should go in your checked bags. In carry-on, they may or may not require secondary screening. Like I said, I don't know how, that was a new thing that just came about this summer. I haven't heard from anybody how restrictive they're being about powders. TSA, on the web version of this, underneath general or important information, there is a link to the TSA website that you can click on. And if you have questions, if you can bring something, you can kind of type it in and it'll tell you. And here is the web address, just in case you don't want to do it that way. So if you have any questions about anything, just go in there. And they even have a 1-800 number, and they normally answer it pretty quickly if you have questions. Suggested items to pack. Extra memory cards, batteries, RFID wallets, electrical converter adapter, which we'll talk about in a little bit, antibacterial wipes, comfortable walking shoes. These are just suggestions. Always good, an umbrella just in case. That's my seat disclaimer. Hopefully they'll keep our seats where they are. Frequent flyer and global entry. Again, if you didn't see your frequent flyer, let us know and we will enter it. Same for your known traveler number, which would have been typed below that line. I think I only had a couple of them for a couple of people. What I do recommend is you keep a copy of your boarding passes until you get the frequent flyer credit to your frequent flyer account, because if they don't credit it, it's much easier to go back with the boarding passes or information on the boarding passes to get your credit applied. On board the plane, it's about 10 hours and 55 minutes each way. They'll serve dinner along with beverages. Now, I did put alcoholic drinks are not included. I've gotten, United is a little up in the air about this. I had somebody go to somebody else and they said that there will be some alcoholic drinks served free of charge, but I don't know that for sure. So right now we're going with no, but they might. I couldn't get a straight answer. I called a couple times and you got a different answer each time. So, as far as the TV screen, they should have the small screens at each of the seats so you can watch movies and all that, unless they change the plane. Included sightseeing tour, that was just the information that I told you that we're going to try to go to the airport to drop off luggage and all that, but a lot of that will depend on if our flight is on time. If there's delays, we might have to rush a little bit more. Hopefully there won't be any delays. Hotel information, the Sofitel Buenos Aires Recoleta. Breakfast is served at the hotel from 6:30 to 10:30 Monday to Friday and 6:30 to 11 Saturday and Sunday. A hair dryer and safe is in each room. There's also complimentary Wi-Fi. The hotel has a restaurant and a bar area and a heated pool. Hotel check-in and check-out. Check-in is normally about 3 p.m., but again, we'll be off on tour, so they'll hold our bags till we get back. And the last day, just remember you have to be out by 12 noon and ask them to hold your bags until we come back to leave for the airport. Foreign currency. Okay, so we can't get pesos now. So we're going to have to get it there. Now, they said if you get it at the airport, the rates are really high. So I would advise not bothering for the airport. The first day, the mall is across the street from the hotel, and I have it on there. It's open 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. is what the hotel told me. But you might want to check with your bank to see if you get any extra ATM charges for being out of the country. There is a bureau exchange location about 2 blocks. The hotel can give you directions because they're the ones that actually told me about it. You have to have cash and you can exchange it there. Now, I do recommend if you are taking U.S. cash, a lot of people will take U.S. dollars, but make sure they're smaller bills. So don't take 50s or anything like that, and even go lower than some 20s and stuff. And they even recommend it, like with some taxi drivers, if you're going to need change back, that you might want to let them know up front just to make sure they can handle that for you, okay, if you're using taxis.
You change in pesos.
Or U.S., they'll probably give it to you in pesos, but the Argentinian peso is the standard currency. Prices are written with a dollar sign in front of them, but that's for pesos down there. So anything listed in U.S. dollars should have a U.S. and a dollar, okay? And like this, they said it does not automatically mean dollars are accepted. So you might want to verify before you do anything. You can kind of just read through that general information. The hotel, too, can help you with exchange locations. They've been very friendly whenever I've called for information. Credit and debit cards, Visa, MasterCard, American Express are commonplace. But again, I try to carry like maybe one of each just in case somebody doesn't accept one or the other. Generally, Visa and MasterCard are the wider ones with wider acceptance. You will want to check with your credit card companies, especially for Argentina, just to let them know that, because I think there is fraud with their currency, which is why I think there's like a lot of restrictions on their currency. So with your credit cards, make sure you let them know you're going to be in Buenos Aires, especially if you're using a debit card, so they don't block it for fraud. And also you might want to make sure if there's any international transaction fees. Some credit cards charge 3%. It can vary depending on the credit card. I know Capital One, I think, is one of the few that doesn't charge. So check with your credit card company. Tipping, the travel house tours, tipping is included, but if you're out on your own in restaurants, it's normally about 10%. Cab drivers get no tip, though it's common to round up the fare to the next 1 to 5 peso amounts. You can tip your maid maybe $1 to $2 US a night. That's up to you. Buenos Aires, because we're going to go through daylight savings before we leave, they should be 2 hours ahead of us. Right now they're 1 hour. The temperature should be beautiful. We're ranging from like 60 to 77 degrees. Okay, so basically we're at the tail end of spring going into their summer. So you can that's just kind of general information about rain, sunshine hours, that kind of thing. It's just kind of general information, but it should be shorts, capris, later cotton stuff. Cell phone. I would check with your carrier to see if they have an international plan. A lot of them do now, and you can add it on for just the period where you're gone or a certain length of period. That's probably the cheapest way to do it. Make sure that your company has cellular service in Buenos Aires. Also, you want to find out what you need to turn on and off your phone so you don't get charged roaming fees, like with your apps doing push notifications and all that kind of stuff. Internet, we have complimentary Wi-Fi, and then there's locatarians or locatarios throughout the city. You can probably ask the hotel if you do need an internet cafe or something like that. Travel apps, two of our favorite are Viber and WhatsApp. I actually use WhatsApp more often now. WhatsApp, you can do phone calls and mobile messaging. So whenever you're connected to Wi-Fi, it's free, just as long as the person you're calling back also has the app on their phone. Electrical currents. So they're saying it's type C and I power plugs. Voltage is 220 volts. So you only need an adapter if your appliance that you're using it for says it goes up to 220 volts or 240 sometimes they say. So like your cell phone chargers and stuff, it normally says on the back that they go up to 240, so you would just need an adapter. That's all you need. If you're using something like a hair dryer or a curling iron and it does not say, a lot of things are internationally rated now, but if it does not say it will go up to that voltage, it's only 110 for the US, then you need a converter along with the adapter. And for converters, then you probably need to talk to somebody because they have the lower wattage converters and the higher converters, so it depends on what you're using it for, which one they would recommend for you. Most of the time, you just need an adapter anymore.
Cell phone needs an adapter.
Cell phone normally just needs an adapter. It's normally just a plug like this that you plug it in and then it plugs into the wall. So it's just like a big, thick, chunky plug. The converters are normally bigger. Like mine's a big like rectangle, but I don't really use
So
it.
the thing I usually plug in the wall to charge my cell phone is neither.
It's probably an adapter. Yeah,
That
it goes into
plugs
the
the
adapter.
because their prongs are different.
Yes, yes, yes. And then you need to do an adapter, yes, just for the prongs. The converter, you need it if you need to change the voltage. Walmart, Amazon, all those type of places normally carry them. VAT taxes, Argentina applies 21% on most goods and services. You can look for the stores that are marked for tax-free, and it says if you spend at least 70 pesos, that has a tax-free, they can give you a special tax-free sales slip along with a global refund check which a staff member must fill out. And then you have to generally exchange it at the airport at a customs stall, which we'll normally ask at the end if anybody needs to know where it is, and we'll find out where it is for you. And a lot of times you need to keep those items with you because they can ask to see them. Okay. Safety. Okay, Buenos Aires is a big city, so the things, no obvious jewelry. Please don't take expensive jewelry or anything with you. You have to be more worried about the theft stuff, and people like don't put your bags on the back of chairs and stuff like that. So you have to be careful about people stealing that way. So just kind of use common sense. unless you need the passports for one of the tours, which we told you about, and it should be marked in tour description if you needed the passport, leave it in the hotel safe. Keep all your stuff with you. Don't flash a lot of money. That's one of the things that they're kind of known there for. The scams. I forget what she told us about being at a table, like if somebody comes up to you, and I guess if they're asking from, I don't know if it's money or what they do, but just use common sense. Don't leave your purses out anywhere. It's generally pretty safe, but use common sense. Ask the hotel if there's any place you shouldn't be walking. I think in the center city area may not be the best. The area where our hotel is, I have told, is pretty safe. Okay? And they're recommending if you're going to take a taxi, have like a hotel or a restaurant call you one versus getting one on the street. Okay? And you can kind of just reading over that. It's not the scary, most of it is really common sense. I think there's more serious crime here in the U.S. than there is there, but they are known for like the theft and the money and stuff. And I think that's basically everything. So now we can do questions. I know that was a quick go through.
Do you know what the exchange rate is now?
I don't. I forgot. I should have looked and I forgot to do it. Yeah, I can probably email it out tomorrow.
The peso is worth 2.5.
Pardon me? I believe that the peso is worth 2.5 cents.
Great, thanks. So there'll be a
It's
lot of
not
zeros.
worth a lot.
Yeah. What other questions? Really? That covered everything?
Anything about, it says something about a car service?
Yes, you can probably ask the hotel or restaurant if they can call you a car service, if you know what you want to do ahead of time. So,
Would you
Yeah.
suggest when you're talking about the taxis and when you and I were talking about Uber,
Mhm.
would this Uber be the taxis or a car service be?
you're
safer?
calling ahead of time. A car service might be safer, and you can probably arrange that with the hotels. So you can ask the
Yeah.
hotel how much will it cost and do it, because most of the time they're more than happy to do that for you.
Okay.
But if you want to use Uber and you feel comfortable with Uber, yeah.
So the dress code is saying sophisticated, just shy of formal. They're talking about if we go out for dinner at night.
Yeah, the Argentinians, it's the Paris of the South, so they tend to be a little bit dressier, but jeans and stuff are acceptable too. It's in there. But